So today on 5D Pop Culture, we're joined by actor, comedian, TTRPG star Ross Bryant from improv stages to the Glass Cannon Network and his own upcoming show, Push the Roll. Let's dive in. So, Mr. Ross Bryant, how are you doing?
Doing well, man. Do we yeah. Where are you zooming in from?
So I'm zooming in from the northeast of Scotland.
Oh,
So I
wow.
don't know if you know Scotland at all, but about 40 miles north of Aberdeen, so kind of far northeast.
Okay, cool. I've been to Glasgow and I've been to Edinburgh, but like very, very briefly.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you enjoy?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was beautiful. I've
Yeah.
I've I've wanted to go for, obviously I've wanted to go for the huge Fringe Festival that takes
Yeah.
place. So many of my friends have gone over the years. But I've never had the just the schedule has never lined up quite right.
Yeah, because Sydney Emmanuel was over here. I
Yeah.
think she was at Fringe. I definitely know that. And apparently it went down a storm. Her and Josephine McAdam, I think,
Yes,
were
yes.
playing, and it was apparently really good. I haven't seen any of the clips from it as yet. Uh, Thanks for joining me because I know it's kind of early your time.
What's
It's like 8,
It's fine.
9 p.m., 9 a.m. I should say.
I mean,
Something
at this point, I'm so used to hopping on doing like game recordings with people in the UK that it's like
like
um, I'm now used to hopping on at like 8, 9 in the morning and trying to go into razzle dazzle mode.
Yeah, Russell Desert mode's not really something I've got at the moment. It's just been a long day today for me for a number of reasons. So it's kind of like, wow, I need something to eat, but I'll be fine. I'll be cool. We'll be all
Cool.
right. So,
Uh,
obviously, I want to talk, if I can, in the time we've got, a little bit about Glass Cannon and Push the Roll. I mean, your voices have been in my ears for the last couple of days because I've been trying to catch up with a number of things. Could we just talk the improv stuff first, if
sure.
that's okay? Um,
Of course.
because that scares the hell out of me. I mean, I'm a GM who likes to prepare a lot because I
Hmm.
quite enjoy it, but also, and I do improv. Obviously, you have to, but the whole, my God, it's frightening. Um, how did you find yourself getting in that?
Um, it's a marriage of I guess the I'm an improviser first. I came from the world of improv comedy. Sorry,
Yeah,
just fixing
that's okay.
my camera's focus here. I don't know why I'm tweaking out. Um, yeah, I came up doing theatrical improvisation, and so I've done that for like 10, 15 years before I
Yeah.
ever played a role-playing game. Um, so I got asked to start playing role-playing games just socially with some friends who I knew from the world of comedy. So
Yeah.
that was like kind of my way in. And when the pandemic hit, Jared Logan started a streaming channel that was basically the only thing tethering my life to my fellow man over the period
Me
of a couple of
too. Well,
years.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the pandemic was a big moment for role playing games because it was a good way to be social with your friends, like
Yeah.
over calls like this.
Yeah.
Um, and so that by the time I'd done a bunch of it and had gained the confidence to try to start running things on my own, I I had never played through a module or done a great amount of preparation, but just from kind of ambiently picking up how uh, the people who ran games for me did it by osmosis. I was like, I kind of get the bullet points here,
Yeah.
and um, and it is one of those things I think kind of like theatrical improvisation, where for me anyway, I understand the frame of mind that definitely wants to have everything really plotted and planned out
Yeah.
and know what's behind
Yeah.
every single door
Yeah.
and everything.
I call that
But I
fear. I just call that fear
yes,
myself.
yes, the terror
The
that
terror.
inspires this over preparation. But I think some people thrive on that. I do like to prepare. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I like to
Yeah.
prepare a little bit, just a little bit, to have like a sense of what the players might encounter. If I'm playing a game like Dungeons and Dragons or something, to have a few stat blocks ready to rock for monsters and critters that they might fight. But I don't want it to be so over prepared that I don't have that I feel then thrown
Yeah.
when the chaotic energy of my players kind of goes off my script, and then I'm left like, oh God, how do I fit their round peg into my square hole? Um, so uh, so I try to like just find this sweet spot of preparation where I've got just enough to where I'm not kind of floundering, but not so much that I'm hidebound by what I've
Gotcha.
got in front of
Yeah.
me. But so Push the Roll, the podcast that I'm kind of debuting on the 10th of September, is an attempt to kind of marry my love of improvisation with the games and kind of challenge myself and the players that join me to very under prepare, prepare nothing. So, and just kind of have the loose structure of a session as a fallback kind of mental scaffolding,
Yeah.
but then everything, all the content is made up on the fly. And
That's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. I mean, well, I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I'm really interested in the improv stuff as well because,
mhm,
again, how does one for improv? Yeah, you can understand maybe stand-up comedy. You can understand working in theatre, acting, I guess. But improv just seems like the most terrifying thing to actually choose? Did you, I mean, did you fall into that, or did you just go, I just want the life of terror,
yeah.
in my
What's
life?
wrong with you? You're
What's
asking.
wrong with
Yes.
you, boy?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think to people like myself and the people, my friends who I do it with, uh, it doesn't come with that terror. It comes with
Right,
excitement,
sure.
and that terror has mellowed over time into being thrilling. And um, yeah, I was introduced to it as a college student, and just totally fell in love with it. I wouldn't have been able to articulate it at the time
Yeah,
in these terms, but just being funny with your friends is so fun, but there's also just something so enriching about the type of group collaboration and the environment and attitudes of mutual support that improvisation as an art form instills, that takes away a lot of that terror that you're
yeah,
describing, because
yeah.
what the layman or someone kind of outside of it is petrified by is this idea of stepping out on stage with nothing and having the stage fright crashing down on you, like, oh my God, I have to make just the right choice. Whereas an improviser who's kind of steeped in it knows that there is no just right choice. The answer to all those questions, the the thing that's going to tamp down that terror, is in the eyes of your partners
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
That you're not out there alone. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation with your partners, and that's the thing that I love most about it, is that it's the alchemy of a bunch of different imaginations coming together to create something more than the sum of their
Gotcha.
parts.
Do you think
And
it's
that
some?
that's something that's so invested in the games as well.
Gotcha. Sorry for interrupting. Do you think it's something that you can learn, or is it something you've got to start with a little bit of kind of innate sort of, I don't know, skill, or you know, is
Yeah,
it something that you could teach somebody who was terrified or didn't feel as if they could, on a
yeah.
whim,
I
just
think
come up with things in?
the attitude that you're describing, um, I think, is a place that a lot of early improv students come in with.
Right.
I think there's a sizable proportion of people who maybe take a class because they want to overcome some sort of sense of stage fright and often kind of social anxiety.
Right.
It's I think some people treat it as a form of exposure therapy, where they're going to do this very seemingly high stakes social uh, ex- extemporaneous thing, as a way to kind of hopefully demystify just having conversations with strangers. Um, but uh, but but as far as like actually becoming a theatrical improv performer, yeah, I think to a certain extent you can teach it. Obviously, there are, as with all subjective performance arts, there are certain temperaments and talents that will make people like kind of make people kind of ideally suited to
Yeah.
improvisation. There are people who come in with none of that social anxiety, who are total hams and are ready
Yeah.
to rip. But I think that the basic kind of fundamental skills that you learn as you progress in improv are things that anybody can learn. Um, and it all sounds, when you describe them, rather touchy-feely and therapeutic, because it is true that it's all about listening.
Yeah.
It's about like trying to get out of your own head, get into your body, pay attention to what other people are saying and honor it. That sort of well-worn saw of improvisation, yes, and where you try to accept one another's ideas and build upon
Hmm.
them. Um, that's all just kind of good life advice. And if you put it, if you put those techniques in the laboratory of a class is second nature. And I think you can take people who are maybe a little bit scared of it, and
Yeah.
with 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 some encouragement and training, you can put them on stage. I've seen it before many times.
Are there like certain things you fall back on if you're in like a particular situation where I don't know if you go blank or somebody else is not responding? Are there little
Yeah.
tricks that you have? You don't have to tell them, you don't have to share them necessarily, but a little things that you know, actually this will often get me out of this, or this will
Hmm.
maybe lead on to something else.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. I feel like this is something that I feel like people who don't do improvisation will ask, or different versions of this question, like,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
do when it goes wrong? When you can't think of something, what do you do? Is there a trick? Is there a tactic? And as always with improvisation, like the answer is almost never something that you pre-planned.
Right.
If you're trying to if you're trying to fall back on a trick,
Yeah.
you're already lost. It's
Fair
the
enough.
the answer is always the answer is always kind of vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's either the vulnerability of engaging with your partner or whoever you're improvising with, or getting vulnerable yourself.
Uh-huh.
In a theatrical improv scenario,
Yeah.
my sort of trick, if I've got one, if I'm ever in a scene and I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't seem to have its legs under it yet. A good place to go to is to make a big emotional declaration. So I would say that the trick is to start a sentence with the phrase, "I have a confession to make," and then however that sentence ends will create some momentum in the scene again.
The only times I've done that, it just made me think. I haven't thought about this in years, but a few friends of mine back in school, which is a while ago now, we went through a stage where we would sit and just tell a story. We'd make something up, then the next person would have to carry it on,
Oh yeah.
which was great. The problem was we were 14 and 15, 16 when we were doing this. So they usually ended up some sort of sexual, it used to get so dirty. You just think, I can't, this is, it used to kind of like, well, you know how it would end. So, uh, but I used to kind of find that quite, I must admit, quite liberating, the places that you could go. And as a GM, that's, a very similar sort of kind of transition, isn't it? You've already mentioned the kind of link between improv and as a player. Do you prefer playing or do you prefer the GMing stuff? What's your
I like
thing?
him both. Just
Yeah.
because I'm kind of doing more GMing now.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm enjoying that quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I like it all. No more than another really.
You
But
mentioned, go, sorry, go on.
I like what you said there, that thing that you're describing of you and your 15-year-old friends doing this, the story
Yeah.
where you're each kind of contributing, picking up where the last person
Yeah.
left off, and it inevitably getting really weird and
Always.
dirty and adolescent.
Always.
Yeah, I, I can say that yes, of course, that never goes away. but that's what that exercise is kind of the crux of the whole art form, really,
Yeah.
because you probably experienced there's if you play a game like that where one person is like telling a story and then they stop and you pick up, there's the version where you kind of, when you pick it up, do a total non sequitur or are quote unquote trying to be funny, and cutting against what they just did or kind of throwing what they just did under the bus, and that will get a laugh, but it will also kill the story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can, the more kind of nuanced way to do it is just listen super hard to what they say and just try to continue with the atmosphere vibe intention of where they left off, so that it is as if one voice was speaking.
Yeah.
And that sort of generous attitude that is going to have patience and faith that we can build something interesting without selling it out for a quick laugh is exactly the place you want to play from.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, the amount of people that I've spoken to in the last couple of weeks when I've mentioned, oh, I'm just talking to Ross Bryant, people that are into this, watch Glass Cannon. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but it's like you're gonna talk to Ross. I mean, it's it's kind of like people being real excited.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it's well, I would hope so because the stuff that you do. I mean, Time for Chaos.
Yeah,
Absolutely loving this season. I was talking
thank you.
to, as you know, Rob Kirkovich last week, and I was asking him about the. I like the online stuff. I play online myself. I GM online, but and I do face to face. But the face to face season three has obviously got a different dynamic in terms of
Definitely.
that. How enjoyable was that, especially with the good God, the what was it, 4 days that you just recorded this?
I know it's so.
Can you remember it for a start?
I
How?
no, I mean, barely. Yeah, it was so condensed that it was almost like you were living more in the imaginative world of the story than you were in real life. We just kind of like arrived at that studio as the sun was coming up, went to Shanghai, and then left as the sun was setting. Um, yeah, the dynamic is different because I, like you were saying, got really used, especially Glass Cannon
Yeah,
wise. I've been recording with them for who knows how many years, always in the grid of a Zoom call or a Skype call. And it was a kind of an interesting transition of like, wait, Nora's not like her face isn't hovering right in front of me. She's off to my left. This is weird. Um, I tell you, one of the weirdest parts about it for me was not being able to see my own face. Like, just be like, what do I look like while I'm while I'm saying all
it's
this
weird you say that because
crap?
whenever I do these, I've got the screen at the top where I can see my face, and I keep looking at it going, "Who is that old guy?" There, it's me, obviously. But
Who's
anyway,
that
but
guy?
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Um, but it is I think yeah, the immersion, if I can
Yeah,
call it that, is greater, I think, just because we're all like there facing each other, uh, cooking it up around the table together. The scary moments to me were a little bit more visceral as a player
yeah.
when we're all there together.
I know Rob was saying that the first episode where he was reading the letter,
Hmm.
um, he actually really got into it. He was saying that he was not he wasn't embarrassed by how much, but he was saying he was surprised how visceral the whole feeling because you were all sat together, and obviously Kate wasn't there.
I
Joe
know
was
it.
playing, and so he was kind of it was almost like a living acting experience. Said it became really immersive, which came across, and it does come across. I mean, Vaughn's character is, um, damaged in so
Yeah,
many ways, and that's so many ways. That must be fun to play, though. It must be
it's
fun
I
to
love
play
it.
as.
I've become so, I think we all have, in the way that any of us, when we play these games, if you're in a situation where you get to kind of have one of these characters for a long
Yeah.
time and kind of sit with them for a while, you do have this weird little avatar of an aspect of your personality that you can. We have,
Do you
it's a
find
weird
yourself
thing.
doing
We have these
the?
little conversations with, oh, I can't help myself watching the videos of the thing. I'm like, yep, there I am with the fucking Spaceworks cigarette
There we
again.
go again.
Like, I can't help it. It's just, but yeah, it's just such a unique art form that lets you drop into these characters and kind of live in their perspective for a long, long, long time. And yes, I felt myself multiple times getting really emotional and feeling occasionally overwhelmed and especially knowing how tragically uh, Call of Cthulhu characters usually end
Well, this
up.
is the thing, isn't it? I mean, like you've been playing this character now for what's it, 3 years
three
or three
years, yeah.
seasons, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I know Rob was saying this last week, and it was like he was suggesting if one of the characters does ever die. And obviously, I'm not asking for any spoilers necessarily, but that's going to be
Yeah,
huge,
it's
isn't
going to
it?
be rough. I
Yeah.
know it will be. I'll be. It'll be it'll be emotional to me. That's for sure. And but yeah, yeah, it is. it does feel closer just having being able to look directly into the
Yeah,
eyes of everyone when you're there around the table. And I really do admire Rob's commitment in those moments. It came across because yeah, Kate's absence hit us all
yeah,
because it is
yeah,
emotional that
yeah.
someone is gone. Um, and I like that as a group we're kind of keeping, even if she's not on screen, her presence is still sort of evoked and felt. That character is somewhere out there.
Well, funnily enough, I asked a few people, or I was going to ask a few people for a couple of questions for you. I did think I get one question from a Rob Kirkovich, whoever
Hmm.
he actually is. Wait, I said question. I said, Rob, it's something I can ask Ross. He simply just responded with, "Talk to me about Welsh corgis."
Okay.
So
Um,
explain this, please.
okay. Yeah, I'll explain this. I I love them. I I had one.
Right.
Um, yeah, what can I say? I didn't know that I was quite ready to adopt a dog, but a friend of a friend knew that a dog had just been taken to the West Valley Animal Shelter here in Los Angeles, and that it was a corgi. They knew that I kind of liked corgis and thought they were cute, and was like, "Hey, I'll drive you out there if you want to foster this dog." And so I went out there, and from the second she waddled out of her little enclosure, um, this dog had been abandoned on the street, like tied up
Right.
and left overnight,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and was also massively overfed. I cannot express to you how comically obese this dog was. This poor thing. She came out of and she was moving across the floor and her bulk was so great I couldn't see her legs. She looked like a little hovercraft, just sort of like moving across the floor like a Roomba. And it was love at first sight.
Love, I was
Um,
just going to say, it sounds like love. There's music playing and violins
yeah,
at the back. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
The birds were singing. The a sunbeam broke through the clouds upon us, and
Choirs in the
but
distance singing a lullaby. Oh, it's
yes,
beautiful. I'm
yes.
just tears down
Um,
my face.
totally. So yeah, she was a Welsh corgi. I named her Rarebit, and she's a Welsh Rarebit. And yeah, I hopefully I put her on a diet, much to her displeasure, and but hopefully added some years to her life. And
Nice. Nice.
she was a swell companion. And yeah, I'm corgi lifestyle. Uh,
Go for
love
it.
her
Yeah. Never had a
more until I
corgi.
join her. I've she has since passed on. And yes, love her forever. Uh, Corgi people are fanatical. I have found. I went to a few of these Los Angeles corgi meetups where people go
Really?
and bring their corgis to the
Is that
beach.
what they call them these days? Then okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you bring your corgis, you
You can
hang
bring a
out, and
corgi in with
whatever
yeah.
happens, happens. Yeah. Um, yeah, we basically like 200 corgis are there at the beach running around being
Corgis,
lunatics
yeah,
while
being
we
dogs, yeah.
right while everyone just stands around and laughs at them. It's great. But yeah, love big
Nice, nice.
big dog lover.
Well, that explains that because I read that one. Okay, I'll ask, but with Welsh Corgis, that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, right. So in the time we've got left, I want to talk about Push the Roll because
Oh
I've
yeah.
listened to. So I'll let you explain it in just a second, but I'm on the episode that was released. I think was it maybe yesterday or today. The rules primer. So you're kind of giving a little bit about the background. About 15 minutes in, you're just kind of fleshing out some of the characters. But yeah, give us the kind of elevator pitch then for Push the Roll. You've kind of hinted about it already, but again, this is very frightening.
Good.
Very
Hopefully
frightening.
it's frightening in a number of ways. Um, so in addition to the glass cannon, I've worked for the past year or two with this other kind of podcast collective called Ain't Slayed Nobody. They do a whole bunch of different games, but their bread and butter is doing mostly Call of Cthulhu and Chaosium games. And I had been doing kind of a series of these, what they call improv games, where you lightly prepare a scenario, like
Mhm.
no more than a page of handwritten notes, and then run a game. and I found them to be so fun and fluid, and you could be so reactive to everyone's imaginations because you're holding it all so lightly
Yeah,
that we kind of put our heads together and came up with an idea for a show that leans even more into that. So the premise of Push the Roll is that we do improvised Call of Cthulhu games where
yeah.
everything is made up on the spot.
Okay.
So our Patreon subscribers submit titles. These are of the titles come in all shapes and sizes. They're some are really weird, some are really poetic, some are really
Yeah.
creepy, some are totally bonkers. And we roll a D100 to pick one. We get the title and then dream up a setting on the fly. So in the explainer that you were talking about, we got the title "The House of Inner Children."
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So we sort of brainstormed an idea where it's like a imagine like a Dead Poet Society sort of
Yeah.
situation,
In
like a
England, isn't it?
prestigious
It's
in
set
England.
in England.
It was in England to kind of just lean into the historical mystique of it all, like an English boys prep school.
Sure.
And so that was the setting. So then we have pre-generated character sheets with the skills already assigned that people can then kind of scroll through, pick one, and reskin to be a character that makes sense in that world. So, for example, one of the players, Paula Deming, picked, I think, the journalist sheet and was like, "Okay, I'll be a sort of like a bootstrappy kid who is the editor of the school newspaper." So that's kind of the spirit of how we make characters.
Yeah.
And then we improvise the whole scenario after that. I GM the games and yeah, and just come up with the eldritch sort of situation that's lurking in the background. And then over the course of the session, the players either defeated or totally destroyed.
It, I mean, probably works really well for Cthulhu. 'Cause I mean, I play a lot of Cthulhu. I've GM'd Cthulhu. I mean, my main jam is Delta Green. I love Delta Green.
Oh yeah.
But I played D&D and Pathfinder and that sort of thing. Um, so the idea of Cthulhu for this kind of concept is perfect because it is quite, I think it's quite easy to pick up, relatively
Very.
easy to pick. I mean, I could imagine necessarily, you might disagree, playing something like Pathfinder in this format. That would be, I don't know if that would be easy or not. Um, but Cthulhu's great because, I mean, do you feel comfortable in terms of the rules yourself? Because there are some comments, quite
Yeah.
spurious comments in this episode regarding your knowledge of Cthulhu, and I find that quite, offensive to be honest. If I was you,
Yeah. No.
would you like to defend yourself?
No. I'm sure I've got lots of pedants and haters coming at me for not knowing the combat rules or whatever. Um, no, that's totally fair because I mean I've been playing Cthulhu on Time for Chaos for, as we said, 3 years now, and I'm even
Yeah,
still being like, what do I roll here? No, I do have a much better grasp of the rules now. Doing recording a big long rules primer really helps to kind of lock them in. It also helps that our sessions have sort of a repertory company of revolving cast members, many of whom are writers of Call of Cthulhu source books.
well,
So,
I've read the sorry to interrupt. I've read the kind of guest list of
mhm,
who will be taking. I think you mentioned this in the very first kind of introduction episode, which I listened to the other day. And it's like a who's who from TTRPG. You've got lots of the Glass Cannon alumni. You've got Seth Kalkowski. It's Skolkowski. I can never say it.
mhm.
It's a whole range of, and then you've got like the makers of, Chaosium themselves that are involved as well.
Yeah.
So you're not
So
wanting for people to take part. It's really
right, not
cool.
wanting for people to take part, or
Yeah.
for people who will uh, hold me to the letter of the law when it comes to Cthulhu's rules.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I have, yes, I know the rules. Unless we run a chase, I don't know how it works. But
I've done that before. We were playing Delta Green one time, my first group, my face-to-face group, and there was a chase scene, and I totally forgot. I just made that shit up on the road. It was
yeah, yeah.
it totally went. What are your hopes for Push the Roll? Is it just audio, or is there a video version planned or coming out with it as well?
We're definitely leaning audio first.
Okay.
In my head, this is definitely an audio thing. Ain't Slayed Nobody is largely audio. It's
Yeah,
also co-produced by Rusty Quill, who are a company that do a lot of audio dramas.
yeah,
So, and Cup, the producer of the show, is really excellent with his post production. So even though the games are improvised, he does do some light editing of the show and
sure.
adds some atmospheric music and sound
Yeah.
effects. So it should feel like audio drama, radio play kind of vibes. We take videos only to clip out brief chunks to maybe promote episodes, but there are no plans as yet to make it a video project, though it may occur down the road.
Would you consider in the future? I don't know what the plans are. You may not have thought this far ahead yet, maybe, but what are you thinking in terms of? I mean, obviously, I think these are all. Am I correct in saying it comes out in September, but th these are all recorded now, or a lot of them have been
Many are
sort of.
recorded. I
Okay,
think we've got now maybe, I want to say we've got six in the can,
okay,
and we're recording two more before we release.
right,
So we'll be well ahead. I think we'll have content through the end of the year
yeah,
because each session will be broken into 2 or 3 episodes. We record for like 3 or 4 hours, and then we'll break them up into chunks. So
okay.
it's an anthology series. So it would be like little limited series.
But
Um,
there's no plans for other systems like Delta Green or I don't know,
No
Traveler or
plans for
anything
other
like that.
systems. No, not as yet. I think we want to kind of stick to our guns with this one. And part of the reason for that is, as you mentioned, Call of Cthulhu is really easy to pick up relative to many other systems.
Yeah,
And one thing I wanted out of this show was to bring in so many people, like you mentioned, from the world of role-playing
yeah,
games who are kind of steeped in the world of how these things work. But I also want to bring in people that I know from the improv comedy world who
right.
maybe don't know that much about games. So I really wanted a system that they'd be able to hop right into and learn quickly, even if they had no basis for comparison. And I've
Yeah,
already kind of experienced to players who haven't played Call of Cthulhu ever, and maybe in one case maybe never played a role playing game before,
right.
and they still were able to kind of get on
Cool,
board and pick it up.
cool. So in terms of your work, so I've only got a couple of minutes. That's blown by this time. What obviously you've got the Push the Roll website, which I'll put the link in the description
Oh,
and
thank you.
everything. I'm really excited about it. Sort of listening to it. I can't wait. To be perfectly honest, what
Awesome.
about the best place to find your work? Because you're on Instagram quite a lot. I've noticed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
yeah. Subtle shit. Too much.
no, there was no hint there. I'm not saying that you were an Instagram whore or anything. I'm just saying that
No, no,
you.
no. I'm an influencer, baby. I'm an
I was
influencer.
going to say people are taking notice, boy.
No, yeah. But truly, that is the place.
Right.
Um, these days, I mean, so many of us have these careers that are just such a weird patchwork of so many different
Sure.
projects of all types, and so it's nice to have kind of a place where you can like direct people to where
Yeah.
it's like, if you want to know, here's the kind of launch pad for all that stuff. And Instagram just happens to be it for me. It's where I post about this kind of thing. But yeah, so
So,
if you want to know the kind of stuff I'm up to, well, follow me at Instagram,
and
at
so,
Ross BD.
yeah, any corgi lovers out there, just go on
Oh yeah,
Instagram.
oh yeah.
You'll be there. What immediate plans then, or I've got anything in the can that maybe you're thinking I could talk about this, or is it kind of just push the roll is kind of taking everything up at the moment in terms
Push
of
the roll
time?
is definitely top of mind right now, just because we're closing in on that launch day, and I'm loving seeing people being excited about it, and I'd love
Yeah.
to keep building it up. I would love if this show could kind of break containment of TRPG world and get
Right.
out into the mass population. Um, and
And
uh,
and also as well in terms of Time for Chaos, Vaughan Villiers does he appear in season 4? Can you say, or are
I
you?
cannot say. I am not at liberty to say. I am not at liberty to say.
God damn it! He
Yeah.
almost fell for it.
Sorry, sorry. Yeah, but we are excited about that. We are going back to record the next chunk at the end of next month.
And that'll be face to
So
face as again. Is
that'll
that
be face
the
to face
return?
again.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice, nice,
we're all
cool,
flying out to New York again to record the next batch. So I'm
nice,
very excited about that.
cool.
And yeah, uh, and I think there are other interesting kind of glass cannon projects in the works for next year. Um, and aside from that, stuff that your listeners or viewers might know. I don't know. I also do a bunch of stuff with this thing called Dropout TV. That's like it's 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 kind of hard to describe. It's a comedy streaming channel
Yeah,
where there are all kinds of improv comedy and variety type shows, and I do be popping up there every now and then. And
cool.
I've taped some stuff with them over the past months that should be coming out
Nice.
later in the year.
Nice, nice. Well, listen, we're just about run out of time. I've got to thank you for responding back to my begging for a chat. It was
Oh
so
no, no.
cool. It was really cool. I love the work that you do. Lots of people do love the work you do. I say, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It genuinely, it's so cool.
No, I
And I
really
wish you.
appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. This is a
It's
lovely
no, it's
conversation.
no worries. It's been a joy, and all the best for the future, dude. Take care.
All right.
All
Thanks
right.
so much, Stuart.
All right. Take care, man. Bye bye.